Okay, ready?
Yes.
Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to Close to Home. I'm Brennen Klaus.
And I'm Tracy Erickson.
And we're back with another episode today. We're so excited to welcome Ashley Georgia to the podcast, to the Close to Home podcast, who is the owner and operator of the Pittie Project. Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, we're so excited to have you. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit. Tell everyone what the Pittie Project is, first of all, and where you're located.
Yeah, so the Pittie Project is a rescue organization. We are located up in the Bellingham, Washington area. We rescue primarily pit bulls, and they're primarily from in the US, but we do occasionally get our little Pittie pals in and rescue internationally a little bit too. But we just celebrated our 2-year anniversary on October 31st. So we're very excited about that. It's been a lot of fun.
Nice.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff for sure.
Tell us a little bit, how did the Pittie Project come about? How did this whole thing start?
Okay, so the Pittie Project was originally supposed to just be a special project. It was based around pulling a really amazing pup from New York named Socrates, who had been in the shelter over there for a little over 3 years.
3 years in a shelter.
3 years. And that's not even, we've pulled 6 from that shelter now, the longest one being there for over 4 years. Yeah.
Wow.
And they're but Socrates started the special project. We were going to be pulling him, and our goal was to rescue 10 pit bulls in 10 months. We were told, unfortunately, because it was supposed to be a special project under another rescue, that was just not a good idea, and that rescuing just pit bulls it's not sustainable. So to get Socrates, we started our own rescue, the Pittie Project, PNW. Sorry for the dogs in the back.
Very appropriate.
Yes,
Yeah.
very.
And we pulled Socrates. Again, we were thinking like, okay, this is great. We'll just start our own thing and we'll still do the 10 pit bulls in 10 months. And that obviously exploded and became a lot more than 10. I think today we've rescued over 250, successfully adopted out over 250. I don't know.
Tell me a little bit about, so it started with Socrates from New York, and
he was a very special case because a lot of people weren't going to give him a chance because he did have a little bit of a history. But our biggest thing, especially, and we've learned so much from that shelter and that experience specifically, because our biggest thing was, you take a dog and you put him in a shelter environment for years and years and years. And then on top of that, scared of this dog, people aren't interacting with this dog, what that's going to do to their state of mind and how that's going to set them up just for failure. There's no succeed like that. So with the dogs from New York specifically, because I feel like they're the ones that have been in long-term shelter environments. Luckily, they're from a shelter where they do allow them to stay there for long periods of time. You're talking dogs we get from California, you get like a month there maybe, and they're euthanizing for space, so they don't have a chance in California. So that's the difference. I think people hear about the shelter in New York and with Socrates and King and the dogs that we've pulled from there, and they just get into this like, oh, it's so sad, they've been there for years. And I was like, it is really sad, yes, but at least they're giving them that opportunity, because over on this side, Texas, Louisiana, places like that, like that's not even an option.
Well, it kind of seems to me, it's almost like the equivalent of like jail. It's either like you're just sitting in jail or you're getting the death sentence.
Yeah.
Right?
And exactly. Well, exactly. And like with Socrates specifically, they were very particular about who got to go in with him, because like I said, people were very scared of him. And a lot of that was just from like someone being scared of him, and then everyone else is like, oh, I'm scared of him too, having no like actual experience with him one-on-one at all, just like really amazing partner there named Jill, who was the shelter buddy. She was incredible with him, and the way he was with her, I was like, there's got to be good in this dog, because
right.
right? Like he's the normal dog. He's not this like creature that we're kind of making him out to be. He's just a normal dog. And so unfortunately in those situations though, like Jill, she had surgery. And so she was out for a couple months, and Socrates, that meant nobody was interacting with him. So if you think it being in relation to equivalent to humans in jail, that like what that's going to do to your state of mind, having that seclusion and having that just even the interaction you're getting from people, you're getting like this nervous, like I don't even want to interaction. And then they're like, whoa, what's going on? Like, why are you, you know, if you think like if I someone coming up to me like that and just immediately not knowing me being like, I'm very scared of you, that's gonna like do your state of mind, and you're gonna be like, something's wrong, you know, you're just gonna get a feeling. But Socrates, luckily, I flew over specifically to get him, and then we brought 2 more back with him that year who have both been adopted, and drove them back because we were scared, right? Like if he had these issues, we were preparing for him to have some behavioral challenges. Like, so I was like, we'll go over, we'll get him and we'll bring him back ourselves. That way it's safe and it's calm and it's very like controlled. Yeah. He's been amazing.
That's so did you keep him as your own?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about like when you get these dogs. So whether it be that you're driving them across the country or flying them back, what are you doing? How do you know what to do to rehabilitate them, or what do you do?
Well, the nice part specifically about the New York dogs, because they've been there for so long and they do have a trainer on staff there, is we are set up pretty well when we get any of the dogs. We've gotten 6 in there so far, all have been behavioral dogs. We know going in a lot of information about them. So like we get there, and I've flown over both times and worked with the trainer and the dogs specifically before bringing them back, just because she goes over like what their behavioral challenges are, how they've been working on them, what like kind of process and routine they've been doing, and then what we found to be really beneficial and has set them up for success in our program is we follow what they've been doing. So it's a consistent thing kind of transferring over. And then we start incorporating them into like a home environment, which is obviously our home, not just anybody's home. Yeah. But we do that by continuing what they've been doing.
That's right.
Start adding in new things. And then as they're kind of like, okay, this is the new normal, this is what we're doing. It's interesting to see how quickly they adapt to the home environment and then how different they are in a home environment. Specifically that we got this last year in our group of 3 was King. And he was one that like everybody was like, I don't know. And it was kind of hilarious because another thing is like dogs, especially in like overcrowded shelters, they show terrible in the shelter. So it's like you go, all of them are jumping at the glass. All of them are like barking and sound very like vicious, when in reality, they're probably not like that at all. So it's like, I go in, King's like attacking the glass and they're like, ooh, I don't know. Like, is this fine? And I literally told them, I was like, he's getting in the car, period.
He's coming.
We're going, like, I don't care.
Yeah.
That he's not like, we brought him over considering him kind of a sanctuary dog, being like he'll probably be with us forever, and he is so wonderful in our program and with our people. He is a wonderful dog and he is super receptive to his training. He's very like, that's another thing too with them, is all of them are actually very like well mannered and like have very because that's like what they've been working on there. The thing that they lack, right, is the socialization, the introducing to new things, because that's what they haven't had the opportunity to do in the shelter. But as far as like place work, crate training, long lead work, like all of that stuff, we're actually pretty lucky because they come to us kind of already having that down. Like they were trained already, so it makes it a lot easier. So I kind of argue that the New York dogs are like our easier dogs in the program.
Yeah.
They're easier for us, right? Because they're very handleable. They listen very well. Like you already know what you're getting. Whereas like all of our dogs coming from California specifically, it's like we're pulling them directly from the overcrowded shelters, knowing nothing about them. So they get here and it's all trial and error, right? It's like, okay, I don't know.
And then what happens when they do get to you? So they come to you, they come out to your property up in Sumas, and what happens next?
So typically what we do first is we do a lot of like, kind of like open training sessions. So like we do it out on our property, which is 5 acres, or we do it like in our bigger building where there's lots of room. And so we're kind of feeling them out when they get here just with us, like the 3 of us that work with them on a daily basis. And it's more just like getting the hang of like, okay, what are we doing here? Like, how do we walk on leash? How are you reacting to us, new people? It's just very controlled and giving them that time to kind of decompress and wind down. And then typically like after they're here for a few days up to a week, we'll start like seeing like, okay, how are you reacting to other dogs? We'll start with like parallel walks with another calm dog that, you know, we obviously test. We have certain dogs that we test them with.
Yeah.
Not throw King in there and be like, how are we reacting to each other? But yeah, so we'll typically start out with like parallel walks to kind of see how we're interacting with dogs. And then they graduate up to play groups and things like that. So a lot of our dogs that we have now, we've actually had for quite like a little bit. So we have our bigger play groups going, which is wonderful because they really love that. And then even ones that we know aren't good with other dogs, we have a lot of like volunteers that come in and do like one-on-one time, whether it be outside or just like hanging out and watching a movie or things like that they can come and just like interact with the dogs, both in bigger groups and the dogs that need that extra one-on-one time.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How many dogs do you have at any given time?
Well, so our sweet spot would be probably like 10 to 12 in the program. Currently we have 19 in the program, which is still fine, right? Like we can help up to 30, but you know, obviously there's not very many of us. So it's like, and let's be all volunteer, right? So no volunteers could show up and that's totally fine too. I just want to make sure like, okay, well.
So this is all volunteer.
All volunteer, yes.
Wow. Okay, so the whole thing is volunteer.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
We actually had so we have the 5 acres that has 2 facilities on it. One is like the kennel area and the other one we're kind of building out right now to do like the training sessions and stuff in there. And then it's got a nice little like upstairs. It's a shop. Don't get me wrong. It's not like this gorgeous house. It's like a shop. And then there's a lot that goes up that we're wanting to put like a couch and stuff up for people to do like movie days and stuff like that. Because for one-on-ones, we typically just do them at my home right now. But the goal long-term is to get the entire property sustainable so that you could do your training there, your one-on-ones there, the kennel area, all of that. So it's a work in progress for sure, but it's come such a long way already. And then we obviously have like a million projects that we're always like, okay, what's the next project that we're going to get? We always want to make it better for the dogs, more homey for them, more enrichment. So it's like anything that they're going to need, we want to be able to provide for them and always improve what we're providing for them.
And then
that's amazing.
Long-term goal to get them adopted out.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So then how does that happen? How do people find you? How do people know about it? Like, how does that whole piece of it work?
So typically as of now, they were doing a lot of like marketing the dogs on like social media. So you can actually see how the dogs are going we market the most on our Instagram, but we are trying to like up our Facebook game because I understand a lot of people don't really utilize Instagram. We did just launch our website last night.
Oh, congrats. Awesome.
So we're so excited. We
Amazing.
have Sarah who literally built this thing out from nothing. And I can't even believe how amazing she is. She's so wonderful.
What's the website?
It's the Pittie Project, pnw.org. And if you go on there, you'll see everything. We have a spotlighted dog on the homepage. So we'll have that every month. One dog that we're spotlighting, but you can go in there, you can see what the adoption process looks like. There's the application on there. All of our dogs are posted on there. It is also set up so you can see our senior dogs and our special needs dogs. Breaks down like what their special needs are. We also have listed on there, so we have our wait list as well. These are dogs that aren't in our program yet. They're waiting for a spot. There's a couple pups from New York that are waiting for a spot. We're hoping to get them in the spring. But those dogs, if you see a dog on our wait list and you're interested in that dog, still like reach out to us and we'd be more than happy to talk it through with you. Some of the dogs that are on the wait list are actually at our local shelter. So if someone's interested in them, it's like, still please reach out. You can still meet them. They're right here.
Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome.
We have everything from that to our volunteer opportunities to our foster opportunities. It shows like which dogs are available for foster, because not everyone's ready to go into a foster home, right? But some of them are. So it shows who those are. It has like our get involved tab. So it has our events coming up. Currently right now we have a hospice pup named Vinny, who has cancer that unfortunately we can't get. Like surgery's not going to, we thought surgery might be an option, but then we were informed that it is not an option. So we've made him a bucket. And if you could follow his bucket list on Instagram, but we've also opened that for people in the area too. So if you look on the events page, you'll see like this Friday is his pajama party and cookie tasting. So like,
oh my gosh.
What?
Because he's so wonderful and he loves everyone. And then on Saturday, because go to a light parade is on his bucket list. So there's a light parade in Linden on
You're
Saturday.
Gonna make me tear up right now.
It's wonderful. So one thing was go on a spontaneous adventure. So last week we took the ferry over to Friday Harbor and he loved the ferry. Like there's videos and stuff you can go watch on our Instagram, but we'll be posting all of his bucket list on Instagram. So you can follow it. He's a wonderful
amazing.
dog.
You are so amazing. It's awesome.
Yeah, so we actually did something similar for another pup last year. His name was Walter the Wonderful. He had an inoperable tumor on his jaw. His whole bucket list is on there too. He did some really fun stuff. He had like burgers with firefighters and went on a bike. Like he did a lot of really fun stuff too.
That is so cute.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And that'll be on our event. So we'll update ones that like people can come to. Cause like I said, Vinny loves people. So it's kind of like, the more the merrier for him. We're going to have an ugly Christmas sweater party for him. He's already got his ugly. So those things are open for people to come and they'll be on our events calendar. You'll be able to see what time it's at and everything like that. So that's all on our website. Everything is pretty inclusive.
Awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
So
that's
how do you
cute.
determine when people reach out and they're like, oh yeah, I'll take that one. I want a pit bull. I'll take it. How do you determine that, that person is a good fit, the dog is, going to continue to progress with that family or that person or whoever it might be?
It does go over this too on our what the adoption process looks like on our website, but typically people will either send in an inquiry or now they can actually already fill out the application on our website for a specific dog. And that will break down all of our dogs say on there whether they need to be the only pet, if they can live in an apartment, if they can be with cats, if they can be with kids, things like that. And a lot of times that kind of gets lost.
Oh, there's my dog.
So we always encourage people to read through the whole thing, but that's one thing that we're looking for if you meet the criteria of that dog's needs. So the first thing you would do is fill out the application. Once an application's approved, we'll probably have a phone conversation just to make sure did you read everything about this specific dog? Starting January 1st, all applicants will schedule a meet and greet. And if the meet and greet goes well, then we are making it a requirement now just because we feel like it's going to really set up the dogs and the people for success to do a 2-week training program with that dog before you take them home. So the first week, at our property, we'll do some loose leash, things like that. At our property, we'll kind of go over that and teach the people how to work with that specific dog. And then the second week of the training program, we'll do outings. So you can kind of see how the dog reacts in certain situations. And if they do have any reactivity in certain situations, then we can show you how we kind of correct that and what we're doing so that it can continue. And we also do at-home training sessions that second week as well. So training sessions in the home with the dog so that you can kind of see, you know, if they're counter surfers, if they're, you know, bolters out the door, things like that. We'll go over in the home. So the first week of the training sessions at our property and at our facility with that specific dog. And then the second week is outings and at-home training. And then we're making that just a requirement across the board because we truly feel like it will really set everyone up for success. And maybe it'll, like, even when you bring a dog home, right, you'll feel a little more confident. Like, okay,
I know for sure.
Situations. And then they'll have their trial adoption period.
That's awesome.
So great.
So there's lots of different ways people can get involved. Basically, you can help fulfill a dog's bucket list item. You can volunteer or even adopt.
Yes. And then we also do, we already have a couple other programs in place that are really wonderful. Is we have our senior Sundays. So we'll typically have people sign up and you can take a senior out for the day. It was going really well. We did it in memory for Domingo, who passed away this last year. He was so wonderful. But we started Senior Sundays for Domingo. And then it was wonderful. People come and they like pick up their senior. They're gone for a few hours, taking them to like the lake or to get coffee or to get new toys. Like they did a lot of different things with them. So that's something that we'll always continue. It was really wonderful. And then we also did our Pittie Pack hikes when the weather is nicer. So we have a group of like 5 to 7 go out on like different hikes around the area and kind of get the dogs out and get them a little more exercise. There's quite a few, obviously, that really love to get that extra exercise. So it works
that is
out.
Awesome.
So
volunteer.
Got it. So everyone can find all of this on your new website, right?
Yeah.
As well as on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, we typically will post like when a Senior Sunday is coming up or when Pittie Pack hike's coming up on our Instagram and on our Facebook.
And what is your Instagram page?
Our Instagram is the Pittie Project PNW.
The Pittie Project PNW, if you're looking for them on Instagram. And then just as a reminder, if you're trying to find them and their new website, the website address is
thepittyprojectpnw.org.
Awesome. And then the one other spot would be Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's just the Pittie Project on Facebook.
Yeah, we also, if anyone's looking to help that's not like in-person volunteering, we are almost set up on Patreon. So if you wanted to set up to be a monthly donor, check out our levels that you can set up for that. We do have our wish list on Amazon. We are on Amazon Smile too. So if you're shopping on Amazon, you can pick us as your charity of choice. We are set up the wish list, which is matching donations from, I believe, until December 30th. I'd have to double check that out. But if you're going on Chewy and you get anything off our wish list and make a donation, it's matched. So check us out on that too.
That is awesome.
Lots of ways to help for sure.
Well, you truly are an amazing human being for all that you're doing. And I just love hearing all about this. It's just beyond. So again, Ashley, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you and we love what you're doing. And
everyone go check out the Pittie Project.
Yes. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm just going to